On November 8th, the residents of California are voting on whether or not to legalize sports betting. And since it's California, much like Florida, it is, I would say, purposefully obfuscatory, meaning that it is very confusing and often purposefully confusing. So there are two separate propositions on the ballot for voters. There's a bunch of scenarios that could play out. I'm Darren Rovell, joined by Sam McQuillan of the Action Network, who covers all of this stuff for us. So, Sam, take us through this Proposition 26. What is exactly on there, and who are the people behind it?
Right. So, Proposition 26, is basically a measure on the ballot that would legalize sports betting only in person at select tribal casinos. There's about 66 Native American-owned casinos in the state, so it would effectively allow them to renegotiate their gaming compact with the state to allow for sports betting there. It would not allow online sports betting. It would allow a few racetracks in the state, about 4, to do sort of the same thing. It's being pushed by all the Native tribes in the state. There's about 110 in the state, so it's way bigger presence than other states like Connecticut, Minnesota, which have legalized or struggled to legalize because of the gaming presence. But it's actually not the one really being pushed that much in the whole conversation right now, I think.
Okay, so then there's Proposition 27. First of all, 66 Native American tribal casinos seems, yes, bigger than Connecticut, but still too small for the state of California. So what is Proposition 27 and how is that different?
Right. So Proposition 27, very similar, also has to do with sports betting, except it's completely about online sports betting. It would effectively allow around a dozen sports betting apps to come into the state. Those are your FanDuels, DraftKings, BetMGM, Caesars, etc. Even Fanatics has spent a lot of money on getting Prop 27 passed. So maybe that could be a state they launch in the future. It would basically allow them to then partner with a native tribe to run online sports betting with the servers exclusively on tribal land, which is sort of what New York did, how they got around a law that kind of prevents where you can bet
servers and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Need to have a land-based casinos to motivate us to say that you're coming into our state, that kind of thing.
It's all dancing around.
So what's the magic number on 26 and 27? What has to happen? And it's one or the other?
It can be both. Each needs 50% of the vote to pass. Traditionally in California, if you have competing measures on the ballot, the one with more votes is the one that supersedes. But the gaming companies that wrote 27 wrote it in such a way that they both can pass. Now, just because they both can pass doesn't mean that won't tie things up for a while. The tribes have spent around $250 million campaigning against Proposition 27. So I would be shocked if they didn't spend a few million more on lawyers to bring it to court, because, in the US, you can sue over anything. So that could tie things up for a while, as it has in Florida.
So if Proposition 26 wins alone, they're okay. If 27 wins alone, they're not okay. And if 26 and 27 are together, they're probably not okay. They're going to fight. Okay, right. That makes sense. Okay. And then I know California, again, is strange from when you can have something on a ballot. So if both of these miss, and what's our prediction right now, by the way?
So if both of these miss, then the next time they could bring it to the ballot is 2024. The tribes actually already have like a ballot proposition cooking that would do
the whole 2-year thing, like Texas and California, conveniently, the places that have the most people. What are we looking at right now as far as the likelihood of 26 or 27 to pass?
Right. So a recent poll came out about, I guess, at the start of October from UC Berkeley, saying that they're both polling at or below 30%, which was really bad news for the companies and the tribes that spent millions of dollars against it. Probably better news for the tribes because they don't want really 27 to pass. FanDuel and DraftKings, Jason Robbins and Amy Howe last week at a conference in Vegas addressed it and said pretty much all but wave the white flag. We're going to try again in 2024 if it doesn't work this time.
Why has this happened? Why is it so below that 50%? What opposition has caused this, or what's going on here?
Yeah, so it's really interesting because California has so many native tribes and they've had a monopoly on gaming pretty much forever, and a lot of close ties with the Democratic Party. They've been able to spend a lot of money, the most of any ballot campaign ever in US history, a lot more than a lot of state political campaigns, pretty much just opposing 27, telling people it's going to start, create more paths to gaming addiction, more paths to children betting and stuff. But kind of ironic, they have the same measure on the ballot in 2024. So it's been pretty much just a lot of echo chamber confusion, mixed messaging. People don't know the difference between 26 and 27. Who wants what? The Democrats have come out against 27 because of that relationship with the tribes. The Republicans have come out against both. People are really confused about what's going on. It seems like a lot of money has been spent pretty much for naught.
Well, Sam, I'm glad you cover these things because in the beginning of Action Network, I was covering these things as well as doing my other job, and it gets to be quite dizzying, but we're glad, we have you because these are such important measures. Obviously, California, biggest state in the land, California and Texas, people are like, hey, we've gone so far, but we haven't gone far enough. And now it looks like we're going to be sitting another 2 years for California. So Sam McQuillan, thanks so much for joining us, and make sure you check out Sam's articles on theactionnetwork.com for all the legal and political side of sports betting.